Hey guys, I don't mean to throw you a curveball and start talking before the opening music starts, but I do have something serious I want to talk to you about as we record this on my birthday, April 22nd. I did have a very good therapy session today before the pod, and my therapist had a prescription for you guys, and that is we are totally great to talk about the title race with Arsenal as long as we spend equal time talking about Tottenham going to be relegated. Welcome to the Brutal Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris. Well
Happy
played.
birthday, brother.
Happy birthday. 29 again.
We had one pulled up earlier that was it was sultry, man. I was gonna do like a little jazz with it, and I was gonna sing to you happy birthday.
I mean,
dear
it was
Blake. It was perfect.
Ripe for Barry White to sing you happy birthday.
When we did it, like, because we're just trying to find something free to throw on the board real quick, I was singing to Ron, and Ron was just laughing. I was like, happy birthday, Blake.
Gotta do your best, Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday, Mr. Blake. Happy birthday. And I was just going right at it, but that's the best one we can find. But happy birthday, brother. Thanks for recording on your pod. Your birthday.
Hell yeah. And I was excited to do a birthday pod. My kid was like, you're working? I'm like, no, I'm calling Uncle Ferris and Uncle Ron. Oh, okay, good. Speaking of which,
this is a job for us.
I know. Like, this is fun. I know.
10 years now.
Well, my wife works and does voiceover, so she thought, like, you're doing a voiceover now? You're going to go to work? I'm like, no. We're gonna do a pod. And speaking of Ron, we are also here with Ron.
Yeah, I'm here.
Everybody's full of some energy tonight, y'all. Let's go. Oh my God. Tonight's episode of The Brutal Game will first be nice to Blake since it's his birthday. Thanks, guys. And talk about one of the other London clubs first, Chelsea Football Club, who just earlier today got sacked. Liam, I don't even have to worry about how to say his name properly anymore, but Liam Rosenior, Rosenoir, Rosen, I don't know, man.
Rosen gone.
That shouldn't have been so funny, but it was. He following their 3-0 loss to Brighton yesterday, 7 hours and 43 minutes since a goal has been scored by Chelsea. I think something like that for a stat.
What was the thing? Hold on real quick. What was the thing I sent you guys in our group chat yesterday that Domino's has sold? Because Domino's always has those great posts.
62 million pizzas or something?
28,244,736 pizzas since Chelsea last scored.
Jeez.
I have to just say, give a proper shout out to Domino's because those guys
always have some good ones
on their Premier League talking. They are great.
Oh, they're flawless. Too bad their pizza sucks.
Right.
This is true.
Like, sorry guys, I'm not gonna give you any love there. That's a brutal situation.
Who cares if they do that anymore? Like, just keep putting out these tweets or whatever they're doing. It's great.
Yeah, it's remember like when Wendy's was doing that. No one gave a crap for Wendy's, but they were funny tweets. That was kind of what they had going for them. Oh, after we talk about Chelsea, we're gonna rotate the table and talk about the title race. It's just hours ago. We now have a new league leader in Man City as they are now tied on points and goal difference, but a pip Arsenal on goals scored following City's win today were Burnley and their massive win over the weekend against Arsenal. Once again, and as the halftime whistle blows, I love the title of this. Our interim manager is still there, and the United has scored goals in the last 5. Ferris shares with us his stories and fun that he had this past weekend at the Premier League Fan Fest in Tampa in this edition of Ferris Shares. I like that. We need like harp music for that, I think.
Yeah, right.
And don't worry, we will talk about Tottenham.
Yeah. They'll come up at some point. I just kind of assume that
it's
will be a general talking point at some point.
But first, our beer. I have something themed, so I don't know if that means you want me to go first or second.
Oh, we have something themed for you, so it's up to you.
All right.
You should you go first, and then we'll go second.
Birthday boy goes first.
Yeah. I feel like mine is more self-denigrating of a themed beer. After this weekend, by the way, I was driving on 95 listening to that effing Man City and Arsenal game. That was a mistake to be driving on 95 back from North Carolina. No, especially for all those close chances that were happening. It was like, do you need me to pull over and me to drive? I guess I was, and so I was listening to the Arsenal radio feed. So of course they're like, every time it's like getting close, and I'm like white knuckling it driving down 95. That was a terrible idea. But after this weekend, I've had this one sitting for a while, and I was like, what beer am I going to grab tonight? And I went, oh, this is what I was going to do with you guys. I meant to bring it and do it in person at one point, and I just feel like right now, this is a perfect beer. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to go with something from Duclaw Brewing, which I don't think we've had anything from Duclaw in quite some time.
Been a while, yeah.
It's been a bit.
They're in Maryland. Rules are not meant to be broken. They are meant to be made. That's our go-to philosophy for the past 25 years, and it's working. We're a mid-sized brewery in Maryland, ready to take risk at the chance of greatness. We're found on the shelves and taps in 21 states in D.C. and internationally in Canada and France. Way back before they got big, they actually came to a brew fest that I worked here in Pennsylvania and got to hang out after hours with, I think it was the brewmaster at the time, and we were just drinking out of their they had like a VW bus or like a van that had taps on the side. It was awesome. We stayed up all night drinking with those dudes. Their banana bread wheat or whatever was like their famous one at the time. But anyway, quite a good brewery. They are always known for having good stuff. I haven't had anything in a while, but what I got for me in honor of this point of the title run, I have the Sour Me Unicorn Farts, because I think that's what my dreams are right now. Unicorn Farts. This is the Sour Me Unicorn Farts with a farting unicorn on it. It is a glittered sour ale brewed with fruity cereal and edible glitter. Don't worry, I'll get a good picture. Pony up for a taste of this glittered sour ale brewed with a trio of fruits, fruity cereal, and a swirl of edible glitter. Based on the flavor profile of the famous Unicorn Farts donuts made with the fruity cereal, this beer is a medium-bodied with big fruit notes, slight tartness, plus a hint of malty biscuit. Fantastical collaboration between Duclaw Brewing Company and Diablo Donuts. Unicorn Farts. Hold on. 5.5 ABV.
Okay.
Draft be cherished, rules be damned. I like that.
Your next colonoscopy, they're going to see mirror ball of your intestines with all that glitter.
Exactly.
That doesn't take an insignificant amount of time to get out of your system.
Nope. That'll be an interesting one. You're welcome, Doc.
The good news is it's probably going to calm your stomach, because it's all that glitter is like mica and titanium oxides.
Pepto on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. Shiny Pepto.
Oh God, that sounds awful.
Well, you'll be figuring it out when you're and glitter in a couple of hours.
That'll wake you up,
right? Glow in the dark when you take a pee tonight. We have a Blake Two Worlds Collide beer.
Yes.
In honor of Blake's birthday. We have a Belgian wit beer.
God, I almost had a Belgian wit. That's so weird. That was my other option.
That is called Oishi.
Oh.
Blake spent a bunch of time in Japan, has been a fan of Japanese martial arts for quite a long period of his life. And so we figured this, what better, you can give him the give them the can art. What better
sweet
thing to do than this? So we picked it because obviously it's two things you like.
The can art's cool too. Simple. It's really cool.
Very Japanese, right? It's like we said, Belgian style wit, 4.7 ABV, 15 on the old IBU. But the brewery is way cooler than I expected it to be.
What was the brewery again?
The brewery is, and I am not going to pronounce it very well because it is Brazilian, probably some version of Portuguese. And it's JAPAS. So however you say that, Japas.
Japas, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically Japanese beer in whichever language in Brazil. These 3 Japanese women found each other in beer halls in Brazil, and they formed a brewery. You can go to, the English one is en.japaservejaria.com. And everything they do is a mashup between Brazilian culture and Japanese culture.
The website's cool, man. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah.
Their logo, they are from their website. We are Nippo Brazilian. We are a Nippo Brazilian brand. We're proud of our origin, and in it, we seek inspiration for our creations. And their logo basically comes from a mashup of the Brazilian flag and the Japanese flag. So they took the diamond out of the Brazilian flag, the yellow diamond, and they changed it to be red from the red circle on the Japanese flag. And then they wrote their name across and around that.
This is really cool. Like, I just looking through their stuff, I immediately want to go visit.
Yeah. It's a pretty slick website, and they have a pretty slick write-up on their page that says, within each recipe, we tell a story. Every label is a piece of who we are. We blend cultures, memories, aromas, flavors. Brazil and Japan, heritage and innovation all in the same glass.
It's cool. You can download their logos if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And they're
I don't know if you said that at all, but that's pretty cool.
You guys, Total Wine? I see they have them there at Total Wine?
Yeah, that's where, I went because I actually got the, Ron, if you want to grab your bottle up there, because Blake, you had said that a friend of the pod, Voller, had texted you about the Jameson bottle that they're doing for with the Orlando City, and it was at the Total Wine there in Millennia. So I went out today and got it, and then Ron and I kind of on a call this afternoon, just talking about the pod and your birthday, and we want to get some into you kind of inspired by you and things that you would like. And I kid you not, I went and I got the 2 bottles, walk around the corner to go down the craft beer aisle. It's the first can that my eyes go to, and it's a wit beer, and it had, I just saw the front of it. I was like, done.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, the can art's pretty slick. It's very clean, very, very Japanese, right? And the beer is called Oishi, which is the word for delicious in Japanese.
Man, so cool. Like the history you went through. And it's really cool. That's a great find. I'm gonna see if it's possible to get any of the distributors up here to snag this. That's really cool.
Shall we give them a crack?
And yes, I'm very glad you mentioned our buddy. I think I've got my whiskey will be coming my way shortly. Although I did get some Carolina Hurricane vodka. Should have had that on the pod.
Went right in my eye.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. No, I said Phil sent a text. He said he got his mom got bottles of it.
It's just that they introduced that thing. You guys remember on like April Fools?
Well,
we were like, "Is this
you couldn't
fake?"
find it anywhere because I went to like 3 different liquor stores. Like, if you're going to introduce it on that day and already say it's available in liquor stores, then make it freaking available in
But especially on that day when
like
all
3
these
weeks after the fact,
all these businesses are making like there's like fake things that you're like. I got really excited. Was it last year? I thought there was a Lord of the Rings whiskey and it tried to be someone just making a fake thing. And yeah.
And then I went into the.
Oh, Ron would hate this, by the way. I'm just this sour.
Really?
Woo!
Oh, the sour. That's true. I didn't think about that.
I can smell it. Oof, man, this is potent sour.
I couldn't imagine.
I wish I could see the glitter a bit more. Just looks hazy to me. Maybe it's all settled at the bottom like the yeast, and I got to swirl it around a little bit.
Good amount of head there. A little bit more than.
Ooh, quite estery.
Oh God, that was absolutely it. All the glitter was in the bottom.
You did you like shake up the can or something before?
I kind of did like we do with the Belgian and like shuffled it around a little bit. Now, full disclosure, I meant to do this you guys a while ago. So this is one of those that has unfortunately aged probably more than it should have. So, but that being said, it's very, it's very dark, guys. There's a lot. That's a lot of chunk.
Is that the glitter or is that the sediment?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of chunk in there. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
it's a lot of chunk. Hold on, I'm gonna put my phone behind this so you guys can like. See,
I was gonna say, do you have to get your
it's
doctor on demand here?
It's a lot of
holy mackerel.
You guys see all that glitter? That is, oh my God, It is the glitter. Holy crap! I don't know how to take a picture of this for the pod because. I need to like light it up.
Light behind it somehow.
Side light it.
Yeah. Holy free holies. This is one of the more ridiculous beer things I think I've had.
Your intestines are going to be chrome plated.
Proud of you.
Oh, unicorn farts. Here we go. Cheers, gentlemen.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. That
is quite a zip of ginger in there.
Oh.
Delightful, though. I'm not the biggest Belgian wit fan, but it tastes like a little bit more sunny, fruity Belgian wit, but still has that. You know, you drink a Belgian, it has a little bit of that like spice to it.
Yeah, the coriander.
Yeah. That's fantastic, though.
This has a ginger orange taste.
Zest. Yeah.
Quite good.
It's darn good.
This is less sour than it smells. It smells quite potent. It's definitely got a funky. Guys, it's really weird. There's all this orange glitter on the top. It does not like I should drink this at all.
You got it now. It's poured.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, that's weird. I didn't know I'd need to bring a flashlight. Oh, it's very, I don't know if that's sediment from it's older than it ought to be. This is going to be a slow drinker, guys.
Well, you got a pod to do it in.
My God, why is this a pint can? I really wish it was a 12 ouncer because I feel like this is going to be, this sour is going to stick with me for a good chunk today. Oh,
there's a bit of a floral bounce in this as well. It is flavorful, but it borderlines on medicinal for me.
Interesting.
It's got very good flavor, but there's so much going on. It's kind of got that almost medicinal feel to it.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to take a photo of it, so let me see.
I tried to get a picture of the, I think I may have pulled it off. I was trying to get the glitter. If I can't, I'll get a better picture because I have more cans of this, and Kara said she wanted to try. So
Just don't tell her what to expect yet, though.
Right?
Right. It's kind of hard to see the shininess of the glitter, but I'll send you guys one. I'm sending you a picture now so you can kind of see the glitter, that chunkiness that didn't go down. It's not quite
Fun way of putting that.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Well, aren't I funny? Arsenal lost, so I thought I'll get a sour glitter beer. Yeah, that was a great idea.
Serves you right there, champ.
Hey, you know what? All right, it's all good. Well, speaking of hard to swallow, let's move on to Chelsea. Well, the weekend's 1-0 this screwed up what I was working on today. The weekend's 1-0 loss at home to Manchester United, and then yesterday's 3-0 butt womping away at the south coast of Brighton, both of which are teams they are battling with to earn Champions League spot for next season, is about all that Chelsea have, it's all that the Chelsea hierarchy needed to see. As early today, the club announced their new head coach that they brought in January 6th of this year. How many days is it? 107?
Something like that.
Yeah.
On a 6.5-year deal, has been let go. So we ask, WTF is going on, Chelsea? I was pulling stats this morning to talk about this, because it was like, if they fire him after the season's over, they owe him like $24 million.
Exactly 6 years and 3 months salary.
So he didn't get that much. Have you guys looked into it?
Yeah.
No.
There was an out clause for performance.
There was a bump. Yes,
okay.
part of his whopping contract at Stamford Bridge, there was a break clause included. I think basically they had to do this now, because I think they would have owed more if they had waited till the season was over. The Blues are set to pay him 1 year's worth of salary at £4 million for 3 months of work. How do we get that job, guys?
Wait, say that again?
They're going to pay over £4 million for just over 3 months worth of work. They have to pay him for the entire year. So it was a 6.5-year contract. So if they,
you only pay him for the year, essentially.
Right. So if this season had finished and it would gone on to say it was $4 million per season, so around $24 million after this would have been. But Chelsea also paid compensation to sign him from their sister club Strasbourg. So they did pay extra there.
So we grenaded 2 clubs.
Yeah. Yes. And they're owned by Blue Co. And though the fee hasn't been revealed, sources told the Times the club paid the market rate for him to leave France and head to West London. I think I've got some other information too as well in there. But Ron, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not shocked at all. Right? Like he hasn't had the dressing room for quite some time. This dip in form was quite lengthy. He does have some injuries that was dealing with.
He was huddling around balls.
Reece James is out injured again. Cole Palmer still nursing an injury.
I want to say Reece James played yesterday, didn't he?
And he wasn't even really qualified to take on a club this size anyway.
This was nothing. If you'd have said he was an interim through this season, you would have been like, okay, you moved him from your. I guess that it, but it didn't really make sense as a.
No, and me and my buddy Joe were talking about it because he joined me, and he's a big Chelsea fan, and we watched the game on Saturday together. And it's not making sense because he is so much of a yes man, because they hired him through their club, their multi-club kind of model that they're in. So you essentially had a coach that was doing very well that all the players seemed to like, and even had Cucurella kind of come out and say, "Hey, change it up." It uprooted our season quite a lot. And now you bring in a guy that's a company man, if you will, that's already within that. And I think he was kind of poorly misjudged first coming in, just from his first press conference, seeming like more of a tactical, actual, talking more, I'll say more posh, but just kind of talking in a softer, smoother kind of way, very company manish, if you will, opposed to your managers I'm going to do it my way. I'm playing it my way. We're going to play the formation I want, all these things. And it's almost like they hired like a manager FC game type manager to come in and try to save a season where, to your point, they can't really do, interim would have made sense, but can they really do it with him to get him away from the club that he was at, Strasbourg, and then bring him in for an interim? You're going to leave a full-time job for an interim with no guarantee that you're going to last throughout the season, where, okay, now you have a guarantee of 6.5 years, but there's a clause in there and a clause in there. So either way, you're going to get paid if you don't last. It shows more on the mismanagement of the hierarchy and of Blue Code than it does on Rossinier himself, because you just put somebody in that position that was just, their head wasn't above water here. They're barely dog paddling to get through.
Well, so we're going to take it back further. Since May of 2022, Chelsea has spent $225 million on raiding and pillaging Brighton Hove and Albion, getting Moses Caicedo, Sanchez, Cucurella, João Pedro, Graham Potter, his recruitment personnel, and Brighton is smoking them.
Smoked him yesterday. Yeah.
That's not that's crazy to think about. That it was like Brighton was doing good. Potter left. They just raided the closets of Brighton. But I mean, right now, Brighton.
Yeah. I mean, I don't they never really looked in the game yesterday. Not one of their players got above a 6 on the rating. They honestly looked decent against United, hit the post a few different times, that sort of stuff, but just can't score. Palmer couldn't really do anything. Delap couldn't really do anything. The chances that they had, there was a few good saves there by Lamans, but you're playing at the bridge. You expect to get it, especially with a makeshift back line that United had put out. You expect them to get through, and and at least get a goal in that one. Maybe not a win, but at least a goal. They couldn't even do that. 5 games without scoring a goal. First time it's happened since 1912.
Isn't it more than that now? Was it 7 games? No.
No, it's 5 in the league.
Oh, losing 5 in the league is
without a goal.
Right. The one that hasn't been, that's been 114 years, is losing without the goal.
Yeah.
The last time we lost 5 in the league was 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. It's just it's mismanagement all around, and
well, I think it's more than just mismanagement. It's player selection. It's the players that we have, right? We go for all these young, unproven players that, are not necessarily all gelling together. They are constantly trying to, our defense is mostly not, right? Trevor Chalobah and Reece James have been here since the beginning of the Blue Co takeover. Everyone else has been here for at least 3 managers, as opposed to 7. Oh, sorry, 8 in the time, right? When Blue Co took over, they had Thomas Tuchel, then Potter, then a caretaker in Bruno Salter. Frank Lampard became a season ender. Then Maurizio Pochettino, Enzo Maresca, Callum McFarlane, Liam Rosinia, and now Callum McFarlane will be the caretaker till the end of the season. Man, sorry about that.
It's just...
You don't have to apologize, Ron. You didn't make those decisions.
Yeah, no.
And so, this whole idea of running the club like a Major League Baseball club is catching up. We've spent all this money. We don't have very much to show for the players we have. Cole Palmer has been injured so no taking anything away from him there. But even before he was injured, he was quite on the slump, right? We've sold a bunch of players away that were able to feed him the ball. If there are 2 players that I would keep, to be honest, in this, I think it'd be Moises Caicedo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Because he's become an N'Golo Kante.
You just re-signed him too, though, right? Yeah. Didn't you
Mhm.
Well, we just extended a contract, so now it's 14 years long or whatever. And then I would Esteval. I would keep Esteval.
Yeah, he's young.
Because he's got
great talent.
More heart than anybody. And then I'd probably keep Cucurella because
he just works his socks off.
Yes. And I think he is arguably in the top 3 of defenders in the Premier League right now. He's just
definitely at a back position.
Correct.
That he plays. Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
No, I agree. And to be honest with you, those are the 3 names that when Joe and I were watching the games, those are the 3 names that we kind of pegged. Like if you're going to keep anybody, or if you're, or you know, who are the players there for you that you'd want to keep, or that other clubs would want on any other team in the Premier League, it was those 3 players.
Right.
Any other club in the Premier League would take those 3 players, but those are the ones that are assuming to be doing stuff.
Yeah. Garnacho,
jeez.
Like,
we could
every time that guy comes on, he's got energy and he is taking on defenders 1v1 and he is trying. Right?
Sure, if you can, that's what you call
it. However, he is woefully, right?
Yeah,
he's woefully inconsistent in front of goal, right? Seldom scores. Most of the time takes some sort of wild-eyed Revis Rocket style shot.
I love the Revis Rocket is just part of our lexicon now. Yeah. I mean, if you were at any Orlando City games those first couple of years,
early on,
God, man, just here's another shot from 50 yards away and 100 yards high. Oh, jeez.
Listen, we were talking about that too. Like, I'm so glad. I didn't even care how much we sold Garnacho for. You guys have him all day long. Get him off our plate because we clearly knew what was going on. But he's young too, and I think there's a lot of young talent on that team. But there's not. You can't sit there and go, "Here's your core of players," right? Like maybe Fofana at the back, Caicedo, and then Enzo Fernandez.
He wants to get out of
no number 9, like you, and then your Enzo Fernandez was suspended for 2 games for talking about
going to Real Madrid.
So like it just doesn't. Your goalie is spotty at best. It just to your point for the recruitment. Is it a recruitment for down the road for a few years with how young some of this talent is? But it's not just it's for the down the road. You have to have somebody that's consistently there helping to guide these players, coach
Correct.
These players, not be sacked 6 months into trying to do whatever they're trying to do, or 100 days in to do what they're trying to do. Because I don't think, I think Liam, Rosino will probably land another job somewhere in England, whether it's in the Premier League at, a team lower down in the table or in the championship somewhere and bring up a team. I think he'll probably get another job, but he's a manager that needs time. Where a Carlo Ancelotti, Enzo Maresca, they don't really need that much time, but they still need to build a little bit of something, but not as much time as like what we kind of thought a senior needs to really get his ideals into the players, build his formation, how he wants to play, sell it to them, get some off-season time with them, those sort of things.
The odd dichotomy of requirements is what's really downing this model, right? You have decided that you're playing for the long term. So you have bought all these players and you're going to develop them. But because they're not winning in the short term, because you need, you need Champions League football because you are, hemorrhaging money. So you bring in a manager to wrangle and, teach these people and mentor these people into becoming better players. But because they're not going to make Champions League, or because they had a 5-game bad stretch, which I totally understand, you can them. So now it's manager of the week for all these younger players who are going to play in a new system that may or may not work for them, right? Maresca's system was actually working, but Maresca had to open his mouth and make the situation untenable. So they have to ban him or boot him, right? Which they weren't necessarily planning to do. So then you hire this new guy, and it just keeps being manager of the week with a new system, shuffling players around that are trying to be mentored. There's no consistency. There's no one long-term watching out for the development of these players. So your model of we're doing this for the long term is being screwed up by the short term because of your short-term demands.
But there was that moment where we were all like, this seems so stupid. I remember Ron's rant pod of what's the plan? What is the plan? But then there was this moment where it was like, oh, they're putting up numbers and maybe these young guys are coming together and holy crap, while not this year, we thought what's going to happen next season. Like that was what was going to be scary. Because even though there were some consistency issues, they were coming together with a lot of firepower and the ability to score. And now, like all that, I mean, what was that? Was that beginning like halfway through the first half of the season? We were feeling that way. Like, all right, well, this might actually work maybe.
Yeah. But that was that was with, Maresca that had something going because for the longest time, Chelsea were top 3?
Yeah.
Top 2 at one.
Man, Maresca he should probably never have.
But because he wasn't, he opened his mouth and made the position on tenable, as you said, Ron, he wasn't a company man, it seemed
Correct.
like, and that's why he got the boots. And then they bring in a company man and they do what they do and they sign people to 6.5 years. And I think that the optics of it to the outside go, well, we haven't seen this before in the Premier League. Why would you hire this manager that has only been at Hull in the Championship or maybe League One at times, and then in Strasbourg in France has never been at this high level in a proverbial top 6 team? Why would you bring him in and sign him up for 6.5-year deals if you didn't have some sort of faith in him to see out at least well over half of that or something?
How much is that going to screw you on your next manager signing? Who wants a different kind of clause? And a heftier clause do you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to sign something that weights that disfavorably against them because they're going to be like, no way, man. We know how this operates. Also, and Ron said something like earlier, the baseball method. I'm not the biggest baseball connoisseur, so forgive me here, but like, I mean, baseball. You can kind of do this Moneyball stat thing because, yes, there is obviously a team component, but it's like baseball of all sports is very much like a team of individuals. You know what I mean? There's a lot of individual like efforts that go into what happens in baseball compared to like basketball or, soccer where the team chemistry and cohesion can be just as important. That year, remember the Dallas Mavericks when they won the NBA and they had like on average their players were 30 years old or something. They had this like really high average age compared to everybody else. And individually, those guys could get smoked by a lot of the younger players, but they played so well as a team.
Yeah,
I think you can baseball. You can kind of lean individual a bit more with things, but you cannot do. But you can't do that with soccer. Is what I'm saying. Like it's not like it.
I don't necessarily think that you can't do some of the models that you're trying to do when you're back loading and front loading these like 4.5 years, 5.5 years, 6.5 year deals, right? I think there's maybe some merit to that, but again, it's not a salary cap like some of the American leagues do. Instead, it's financial fair play and different side of things. And I just don't know how the problem is we don't know what the plan is on how they're applying it to the team. You're bringing in these players to do that, but how are you just bringing in players just to kind of gain stock in all of them and then sell off the stock, loan the stock? Like, what's the point of bringing in these players if there's not a plan for them and all you're doing is either loaning them out or they're not seeing or they're sitting on the bench? Like, it's not as if you're bringing them in as part of the academy or they're growing up in the academy. Like, you're signing these young players from other teams and making them, some of them homegrown, some of them not in that respect. But what's the plan for it? And that's where there's
on the model of developing them and their talent over time, right? Because the player selling model that they're also in is they bought these folks for, I will say, a relatively lower price compared to what they expect to sell them at after they are mentored and developed further, right? But that's not congruent with short-term gains into Champions League.
Is this where some of the Spurs conversation comes in? That, like, I think the way things are right now, I think you could easily get outpaced so much in the way the league is right now. You can't afford to have, like with Spurs, we had these several seasons of, what is their plan? They didn't really recruit anybody. They didn't really sign a lot of new people. They don't feel like they're building the next team that's supposed to come along, and like, look at where they are. And I don't know how long you can sit there saying, what's the plan with Chelsea before you find a club like that. And this isn't me being an Arsenal. I mean, just as you find yourself in the same boat, and all of a sudden you're really struggling from the bottom because, again, that money to pillage a ton of talent from Brighton, and Brighton just smoked them 3-0, and Brighton's fighting for a Champions League spot.
Yeah, if you told me that Brighton bought all their players from ex-Chelsea, I'd have believed you, because it sure didn't look like
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I mean, I know Brighton's got they're at 50 points right now with Liverpool at 55. That's doable. Liverpool ain't consistent right now. I mean, they really could try to fight for that 5th spot, like in the remaining matches. I know it's not that many games, but like, there's a possibility. I just, man. And certainly the way Bournemouth's been playing, you can't imagine Chelsea sneaking up even to that Europa, or what's it called? The
Europa Champions.
The European Championship. Yeah.
Europa Conference League.
Conference League, yeah.
It's a mess.
I'll leave you with this. The average permanent tenure of the past 6 managers, 9.37 months.
Not even a full year.
Man, just in time to pop out a baby. That's all the time you got. Dang.
So you're telling me that Chelsea get pregnant with a manager?
Well, I am gonna be cheeky for one moment for y'all, because I'm totally pulling this from Men in Blazers social, but like, I was trying to find like things, what will we miss? And they put and I was looking for quotes, and they pulled up a good one. The best quotes from Liam Rose, and he's gone. Here we go. In English, manage, if you split the 2 words, is man and age. So you're aging men. I don't know what that means. And the next one, my players made the decision that they wanted to be around the ball to respect the ball. Classic.
Thank you, Liam.
Potential for this club is limitless, and I won't limit limitless. That is a George W. quote, right, if I've ever heard one. That's some strategery right there. Like,
it just sounds like a company man.
Just right.
It's like we're just doing it for the bet,
But here's his last.
We're gonna go out there. We're gonna try to win every game.
The future doesn't exist. It only exists once you get there. I mean, it sounds like someone's like, I'm going to get AI to write a self-help book, and I'm going to self-publish on Amazon and try to sell it for $1.99 and see if I can get anybody to buy it. I think that's part of the problem, isn't it? In this situation, he unfortunately is in a spot where there is the brain, the half part of the brain of the general folks watching football that are like kind of stuff you guys just said, like, I mean, he wasn't ready for this, and this, da-da-da-da. But then this other half is like, yeah, but the problem is you say crap like that, and it makes it hard for me to like feel empathy for you, because what is this? Like, and him always taking notes on the side and not watching. I want him so badly. Why wasn't the behind the scenes Amazon thing on Chelsea this year?
We could say dozen clubs, though. Wouldn't that be brilliant? But
I would, God, if this man would just become a pundit or something so he can talk about this whole experience, because I'm so friggin'
he can't
curious.
do anything for the next little bit. He's getting paid $4 million,
Yeah.
Go on a.
But and now, in all seriousness, I know $4 million is nothing to sneeze at. Guys, where's he going to manage at next? He's going to have to go a lot lower than anywhere he's been at.
Yeah, or
I don't think anyone would pick him.
Maybe go back to France, Germany. There's other places that he could go. I just don't know how quickly he's going to want to go back into something. Right? Time will tell on that side of things.
And it's probably not going to be a club with as high demand, high expectation, right? It takes a certain breed of, manager to be able to deal with that kind of pressure.
Now, Ron, based on your last pod, could Liam immediately go to Bayern and win the league?
I mean, if Vincent Company can do it, I'm sure he.
I loved that rant. That was it last go round. And then when I saw them actually secure the league with their ridiculous goal difference, and it's like, Ron will be proud of Mr. Company. He's done it. He's
Good
done
job.
it. They climbed that mountain, baby.
Yeah, single-handedly. It's all him. No one else
Woo.
around.
All right.
Just grit and determination. He made it all on his own. Great job, buddy.
Yeah, you did the thing. All right, moving on over to the race. Well, would you look at that? That's a Ferris classic line if I've ever heard one. We now have a new league leader for the first time since match week 7 as Man City won today at Burnley by a 1-0 scoreline. That coupled with their massive Sunday primetime match against Arsenal. By the way, the highest rated Premier League match in America by American viewership was that game. Against Arsenal, which they again won, this time by a 2-1 scoreline, puts both teams as of today tied on 70 points. They also both have a 37 goal difference. So the next tiebreaker is goals, for which Man City have 3 more of those. So that puts Pep and Man City in first place in the driver's seat with 5 match days remaining. So we ask, will Arsenal bottle it once again? Will
they bottle it or have they?
Yeah, it read weird to my ears when I was like, will Arsenal?
Doesn't Man City have a game in hand, or did they?
That was
today.
Game in hand was today. And you expected them to score more goals against Burnley. They would have been higher up on the goal difference, but they didn't. That's why the goal difference are both on 37. But City scored more goals, 66 goals that they've scored, opposed to Arsenal's 63 goals. Now, on the opposite, City have also given up 3 more goals, and Arsenal have given up less 3 goals. So that's how you get to both plus 37. Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't. This was a 9-point gap at one point. As much as match week 33, as much as match week 30. 3 games ago, this was a 9-point gap. This is now tied. It's no longer in Arsenal's hands. If City win out and Arsenal win out, odds are City will win.
Yeah,
now,
you'd have to score
difference. It could be very tight, that sort of thing. You could be set. You could sit there and go, well, Arsenal probably have the better of the last 5 games and the run in and that sort of thing. But the pressure's on. And we've seen kind of in the past few years, but let alone this season, how they've handled it. They lost to them in the cup. They got bumped out of the FA Cup for against Southampton. They only got through in the Champions League against Porto by like a 91st minute kind of Kai Havertz scored, but like they didn't even score in the second game. They looked pretty good though in this game. Like they were on the front foot and better than they looked in games against City in the past. But they are very fortunate that Gabriel did not get sent, and they don't have to deal with having to replace him for a 3-game ban, because how and why he did not get sent is beyond me. So you have a lot still going for you, and you probably have the better of the run-ins, but it's no longer in your hands, where you had a 9-point control and you had it in your hands until you lost it to Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go back to that.
The pressure is so on where Man City have been here before. They've done it. They have like, I don't know, something that Pep's like 43 and 10 in games during April, and Arteta's like 11 and 38. Like it's an 80% win, rate for April for Man City and Pep opposed to like a 30% for Arsenal and Arteta. City just know how to get through this back end of the season.
Well, yeah, and they've also got some the key players like having Rodri back is enormous. I think Calafiori is more important. I think than they let on. Was it right now? Arsenal have Timber, Saka, and Calafiori, and even though Saka's not been on,
he didn't even start this match.
No, I know he's. That's what I'm saying. They've been not available, like Timber, Saka, and Calafiori, and even though Saka has not been on fire, he still pulls people. You know what I mean? Like it creates chances just by, even if he doesn't get involved, right? And it's like, man, you really see it. Like something in that match though, when that first goal went off the goalpost, I was like, yeah, but it's going to be one of those, isn't it?
Like striker that you brought in the offseason was on the bench and didn't get brought into the 84th minute in this.
No, but Havertz, who in theory probably would have been the starter striker for the season, but had been injured, is finally back.
Yeah, and he got the goal, but that was more on Man City than it was him. I mean, he hunted it down, he chased it down, he got his foot on it, but Odegaard didn't have a great game in this. Gabriel got smoked by Holland.
I don't know that I'd say Odegaard had a bad game in this. A lot of those near misses on the post, those were set up by him. I don't know that I'd agree with that.
Yeah, but he hasn't even played a majority of the season.
Yeah, he's been injured. I know. That's what's silly. Yeah, he just came back. Yeah, like
how do you? I mean, all of these things we can go tit for tat on who he's playing and whatnot. You have a deep bench. Like you this team is built to do what they've done a majority of the season, to get far in all of these cups just from the deep bench that Arsenal have. But for some reason, when they get down into April, and at this point, 9 points ahead, now the pressure is on. And the past, on past few seasons, they're not going to come out good through the end of the season. They may this time around, but it's kind of out of their hands this time around, or going in now if both teams kind of went out. Because this may come down to goal difference, goals scored. That's how tight this is going to be. But the pressure is certainly on Arsenal, where they have shown that they have not dealt with it very well in seasons of past, and Man City have.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have a deep bench. I mean, I definitely think, though, no Saka, no Timber, no Calafiori against Man City, like that hurts. I mean, that's and Odegaard has been missing and is back now. But when did he come back in? I can't remember when he finally came back in to be available.
I guess the larger question is, there's always something to attribute a specific scenario. But I guess over the last 4 seasons, it's been the same scenario.
Oh, yeah. He came back that game. Sorry. That was his return game. Yeah.
So why is it always the same for Arsenal? Essentially coughing up their season in April and May. Different teams, different injuries, different scenarios that every team has to deal with. Why is it Arsenal is always the bridesmaid and never the bride in the past, assuming the same happens in this one 4 seasons running? What do you attribute it to? Is it a manager change? He got them to where they are.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. That's the dumbest thing. Like, people talking about that, God, that's so dumb. That like blows my mind, because
why is that dumb?
Why? Because
what's the only main factor to Ron's point that's been here the past 4 years?
You know why?
and his
Chelsea
win
sucks, and
percentage with the other
Spurs are about to get relegated.
I'm not. Listen,
That would be the dumbest thing to
I
drop
understand
him.
that. But if he doesn't get across the line and win something this year, that's 3-4 seasons in a row when you've spent millions upon millions of hundreds of millions of dollars to get him everything that he's wanted. And it still may not come, it's maybe a moot point because they may win the league and they may not win Champions League. They may win Champions League and not the league. Who knows? Or they may not win both. Then I think that's a real discussion because he's the only between him and Odegaard and Saka, those are the three that's it. You're not going to get rid of Saka. You probably will get rid, of Odegaard. But I'm not saying necessarily that he should be sacked, but it's certainly worth a discussion of, do you move on with him? Is he always going to get us this far but not over the line, right? Is he a Tony Dungy and not a Chucky for the Bucks?
Chucky. I know Gruden.
But Gruden,
Yeah,
right? Is he that very next year that Gruden came in, he won the Super Bowl, where Tony Dungy did all but couldn't quite get there. Is he one of those? I think it's a fair discussion. But I think anytime we talk about if you're going to sack a manager, who do you bring in? Because I don't think it's right to sit here and go, hey, sack Arteta, because there's not really anybody that's going to come in right now, or anybody you can think of that you kind of want to come in at the moment. I think that's where that discussion needs to go. Is that we're like, well, who else are you going to get in that's going to do this job?
But what's gonna so all that is valid. But what's gonna get Arteta to get across the line? And I'm not for or against sacking him, right? Because he's obviously in his tenure at the club has certainly upped the brand globally for the Gunners, right? They're basically a household name for at least the past 3 years running, right? But what's it going to take for him to get across the line? Assuming they don't win anything this season. And it's another, quote, bottle job. What's going to get him across the line? I mean, can you ask for a better squad and better depth than you've got?
No. Either he has to change, he has to evolve. And I do think this season he has evolved just in his antics on the sideline and his post-game stuff. He's saying things differently than he has in the past. So, but does that translate to the players? It certainly seems like, his antics in the past, his franticness, his blaming refs, his all of this, all that kind of very chaotic things that he's done on the sideline has kind of shown that in play. But I don't know. I that's a more nuanced conversation with how he's doing with trainings and the player developments that he has. And you got to keep in mind, Arsenal no longer have who was your GM there that left last season?
Oh, he's in trouble at Forest, right?
He was
Edu?
at Forest. Like there's
Edu.
a new Edu, and there's a new person in now. Do them in ownership go, okay, well, let's go a different route in the offseason because he hasn't got us over the line. That's a more intricate.
It is. I just think it would be so stupid. I mean, there's Spurs wishing Pochettino would show back up, right? when they couldn't pull a trophy, but were so much better. I'm not saying
you're not going to bring Wenger back. Like
no, it's not, I'm not saying that. No, you wouldn't. What I'm saying is that I don't want to, having watched Chelsea, Man United, and Spurs go on manager merry-go-rounds is not something I would want to do, and I think would be a really bad. So would it be a really bad idea?
Say they don't win anything this season. Arteta leaves and Zidane comes in. Are you signed up for that?
I don't know. Will Zidane do well? He fit the culture there. I have no idea. Will those players? I mean, there's the whole chemistry thing. I mean, yeah. If he just left, I guess. I mean, you've got. There's not a ton of people that
Carlo Ancelotti.
You throw in there? I don't
He's
think
available
so.
after the World Cup and gets brought
Right?
in.
He gets knocked out of
I'm saying, like,
Brazil.
there are other options
Yeah.
that people would not mind want to see in there. I don't think, a Liam Rossinier. No, I'm kidding.
And he'd have to learn to say his
Again,
name.
I don't think it's a fully real conversation. And the people that have called into a lot of the call-in shows in England talking about sacking, I agree with you, Blake. I don't think that's warranted yet. I think you have to see how this season plays out, and then there has to be a conversation
because he's still making them money.
Behavior has been, whether it's a pattern of behavior, a pattern of how your seasons go from, each of the seasons are playing out in the same way. So what's the definition of insanity? Just keep doing the same thing over and over again. You've already done it 3 times in 3 seasons in a row. What are we going to have to change to break that cycle? Is it going to be Arteta? Do we move our captain in Odegaard? Do we, what do we do? I think, this summer would be more into that conversation. But for right now, Arsenal have to try to keep their nerve.
You know what they should do? I have an idea. They got to sit Arteta down with Dr. Sharon Fieldstone. You guys remember her?
Yeah.
She's a sports psychologist from Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If she can get the Greyhounds promoted, I bet she can help Arteta get across the line.
Can't hurt. Try anything at this. But it also doesn't help that you always hear about these weird antics that he's doing in training, from hiring pickpocketers to what was the newest one that he had? But he just has these weird, antics of things that, though you're starting to see those surface more.
But I mean, I think right now though, there's a good chunk that honestly,
that they've done.
I think a good chunk sits with players too. Now, some people just look gassed. I mean, I don't know, being in the 4, going for the 4.
But they're not in the 4 anymore. They got knocked out of 2 of them.
Yeah, but that just happened. I mean, so but they look gassed, but that's where you've got injuries and stuff, people out, right? And the other people, some of the folks just look gassed in a way that's very, Eze does not look 100% and hasn't. Rice hasn't. Rice is playing well still, but he looks like a dude that needs some rest at this point.
This team was built to compete on a lot of different fronts with the depth. I mean, what was it? Man City did the treble a few years ago. You can do it. You can win a double. You can do these things.
Oh, sure.
But they have to get across the line to win something.
Yeah, but I mean, that depth
means that confidence going. But right now, everybody has injuries. Everybody has these things. Like it's. I don't think it comes down to whether or not Arsenal can keep their nerve, because they have it in the past, and can they get across the line on something? Because this squad, to our point earlier, it was built to win something. He's got everybody that he's asked for. From a number 9 to Declan Rice to a new back line to the goalie that he wants, all of these things, millions upon millions.
Technically, he
to compete on a lot of different fronts. And if he gets out of this season not winning a single thing, great, you played wonderful for 6 months of the year, but you didn't win a single thing. That's why the EFL Cup was such a big point of this season. Because had they gotten across that line, won something, beat Man City, I think that confidence would have propelled, and you guys be looking at a double of something, or even a domestic, slew of things. But that loss, I think, was crucial to how this season has now begun to play out, with these 2 teams now being tied on points.
That's why you don't start Kepa in that match. Told you.
So who made that decision? Arteta.
I know.
So now we go back to should Arteta be fired?
It was an odd sentimental choice from a guy who typically isn't sentimental. I think
that's one of the losses that put you here.
Yeah, I think that one was crucial.
Well, that's not crucial to the Premier League, because it doesn't do with the Premier League.
No, but it's crucial to mentality, to
morale,
to
your momentum.
your mind in terms of can you keep your nerve now, or now we know we can get over it, now we know we can achieve it, to a number of things. It would have been I think that was a big point of the season for this team. Then you still had the FA Cup. You get knocked out by a championship side. Now you've just squandered a 9-point lead. Like, all since that game. The one that you said was so fast after the international break or something like that. No, that was the other one.
What was the one?
That was the FA Cup game. Well, they were tired. They a lot of games. You were off for 2 weeks.
What's Man United's excuse? You guys totally want freaking like
excuse at what? Listen, we have an interim and we're up in third. We're 12 points off you, and we've been that bad this season.
Well, that's the other thing I would say. This is from like would it be a match 2? But as a thing, someone threw out on social media, it's the worst quality year for the rich clubs since Premier League's begun. Arsenal have won 3 out of the last 8. Man City the same. Liverpool 2 out of the last 8. And it's basically a race to see which club is the least worst of the rich clubs, which is not an inaccurate statement as it sits this year, because third is 12 points behind. Like you said, like it's a huge gap from the first two to second and to third and fourth. And it is a weird time for those on top, because I think the reason that Arsenal has hope is because Man City, they're getting good when they need to get good, but they also haven't been consistent.
Yeah, but you guys need to beat them. Like, you need to beat Man City, and you haven't. You're drawing with them, but that's key. That's why that match, that cup final was key, because that was going to kind of play out in this game. And in the end, it was Man City once again. I
was more concerned we won the EFL Cup and lost the Premier League after it by trying to burn out. I was like, oh God, if we it won't matter. Who cares? You win the EFL Cup. But the last thing I'll say about it is Spurs face relegation, Chelsea's in disarray, Arsenal in the Premier League title race still, and 2 Champions League semifinals back to back. Still not a bad season.
We'll talk to you. Hey,
after the last few days, perspective put a lot on it between Arsenal or between Chelsea and Spurs. Like, I hope we don't get so trigger happy and frustrated that we do something stupid and then find ourselves in the same boats, drifting. That
a lot's going to happen here in those last 5 games. We'll see.
I don't know why the supercomputer is still picking Arsenal. I'm surprised at that.
No, and I think the favorites.
The bookie switched, but the Opta computer didn't. I was like, I find that odd.
I trust the people that do the odds more than I do a supercomputer. Screw that.
I don't know. Since this Kashi thing has come out, whatever.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
We could start betting on which person will drop the first curse word in the pod. It's so stupid.
It's all stuff like you can do it the day before. So you just say that I just don't go to that stadium and do exactly what I just put in.
Will Declan Rice blow snot?
You can alter the outcome if you really wanted to. It's ridiculous.
There's the guy who did it betting on the length of the national anthem, and he stood outside of the Super Bowl stadium on the day before during the sound check recording and got the.
Yeah. Like it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah. It's friggin' ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Where's my soundboard? I had all my notes up. It's time for our new segment. Ferris shares.
We need like a
Jack Handy style, deep thoughts with Jack Handy.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the board that will play that. Premier League Fan Fest. Super freaking cool. If any of you
super jealous of your photos.
If that was any awesome. Of you get a chance to go to one of these, if they're in your town near you, go. 1, they're free. 2, you are with so many fans that just love the game here in the States, that watch the games, have friendly banter back and forth, but you have clubs that show up, former players that show up. the Premier League live folks are all super nice. Yeah, they get shuttled from to and from, and that sort of thing, but all very, very nice. Good options in terms of food and drink. Just you get a chance, go. It's so much fun. I got lucky enough to get some VIP access for the 2 days, which was awesome, and got to meet a few players. Got a picture with Alan Shearer, with Tim Howard, Wes Brown. Got to watch like the Man City and an Arsenal game with Glenn Murray and some Brighton players and a whole slew of us that were up there. So all that was fun. Another fun thing was me and my buddy Joe, as I was telling you, were watching the Man United and Chelsea game. And we're kind of just talking about the game. He's going on about how bad Chelsea are and Garnacho. And it was a guy that kind of had come up because we were standing kind of over by the catering bar there, because that's just kind of the open spot and where some TVs were available. And we're just chatting. We're having a pint. We start talking to this guy, and we're just going back and forth and just, throwing things back. And, he's there for Brighton. And at halftime, we go to snag other beer and ask him if he wants one, and he's like, yeah, sure. So we kind of like do our, hey, I'm so-and-so. Let's find out. His name's Peter Ward, former Brighton player from 1975 to 1980, scored 100 and some different goals, got promoted from the third tier to the second tier to the top tier in English football, got a move in Nottingham Forest, played under Brian Clough for a bit, and was capped one time for England. Came over here, played for a few clubs in the 80s, Seattle, when they had a club before the team that they have now, and eventually ended with the Tampa Bay Rowdies in Tampa, where he lives now, but was there in kind of an ambassador role for Brighton and Hove. Super nice guy, super fun guy. We just shared some pints together, watched the game, shared jokes, was just telling stories, and we got his cell, and I'm gonna try to connect with him when he's up here for the England pre World Cup game that they're playing up here in Orlando. The FA gave him a few seats, so I already bought mine, but I'll see if I can connect and kind of meet up with him again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, super cool guy, and what a just fun weekend for any Premier League fan, any soccer fan, really. From the games they had to the merch they had available to the various teams that showed up there that had tents. There was so it was Liverpool, Villa, Brentford, Bournemouth, Palace. They had the FA Cup there. They had the Premier League trophy you can take a picture with. Just super cool event there at Armature Works in Tampa. Guinness is the Premier League sponsor, so drank a lot of that. That was widely accessible. They show all the games with sound and on all of the big screens. They do fun things in between, like the commercial breaks with some like DJ and host, as well as the on-air talent. And just a super cool event. If you get a chance to go to any of these Premier League Fan Fest things, whether they come to your town, if they're anywhere near your town, if it's an hour, a 2-hour drive, it's about an hour and a half drive for us here in Orlando. Go, absolutely go. That they're free, and all you gotta do is just pre-reg and then sign up when it becomes available. Do it. Go, because it's such a good advert for the league, for where this game is growing in the States, and just such a fun event.
Your picture overlooking the bay with the Guinness there, and all the tents with the TV screens. I was like, man, that looks awesome. That looks so rad.
Super cool. Super, super cool. So, a lot of fun.
Good for you.
That was a wonderful rendition. We need more of Ferris shares from time to time.
And jingle.
All right, Ferris, you want to move us into the La Ligas roundup?
Sure. We're going to do a 2-minute drill with this. We just got a whole bunch of topics and headlines from the past. We haven't potted in about a week. So we're kind of over the past 2 weeks. And Blake, you want to start us off?
Yeah, this one's awesome. Our first confirmed new boy to the Premier League as Frank Lampard's Coventry not only secured the promotion, but yesterday also won the Sky Bet Championship with a 5-1 win over Portsmouth, ending a 25-year wait. The West Midlands club will return to the top flight in English football next season. Congrats to the Coventry. Friggin' awesome.
So cool.
Always good to have a new one come up.
Yeah, and they were up in the very beginnings. I don't know if it was actually called the Premier League then. 25 years. So yeah, I guess it would have been at the very start of the Premier League.
Yeah, I believe so, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
Frank Lampard will be coaching in the big show again.
If he doesn't,
assuming they stay.
Or does Chelsea pick another manager that
I was about to say that
promoted and then
yes, I was about to say the exact same thing.
No, but they're 10 points ahead of Ipswich.
Would you take that?
6-goal difference, just awesome.
Wait, hold on.
What's that?
Let's just imagine Chelsea comes knocking in summer.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that if you were him? Or would you wait?
Because it's Frank Lampard and his love for that club. And there's a bar literally outside of Stamford Bridge named after him.
But there has to be it's kind of like that feeling we had with Graham Potter. We're in the beginning, we're like, man, he's doing really well at Brighton. Like, I know it's Chelsea. Do you
because at this point, you got to think too, we got to play the odds. We're going to be the new boys going into this league, where a majority of the teams that come up go straight back down.
Yep.
There's no guarantee I'm going to be in this league next season. I'm going back to now he's already been there on an interim, basis. I'm going to my, boyhood club or
third
where
time.
he played for a third time. I don't know. I certainly hope not, because you want to see these clubs come up and retain.
I'd like to see Coventry do something, yeah.
Right. Retain their manager and bring in some new players to help kind of stock and see if they can stay up, But the teams that you could have as of this moment, because there's still, 46 game schedule they play there?
Dude, it's a lot.
3 games left. You have Ipswich, which has a game in hand. Right now, they're in that other automatic promotion. So if you remember the championship, you have top 2 automatic, and then your 3 through 6 playing a playoff. Ipswich right now are tied on points with Millwall, but have a game in hand for that automatic spot. Then you have Millwall and 3. Well, they haven't been up in the Premier League in a long time. If West Ham and Millwall end up being in the Premier League together, those are fun ones. And then Southampton, Middlesbrough, and then currently in 6 with 2 wins on the bounce, Wrexham. If they could get into the playoff,
they could get into the Premier League.
Wow. Back to back
4
promotions. Right? It'd be 4 in a row. Yeah, that'd be wild. But that's currently the championship there. And congrats to Coventry City. Well, from one end of the championship table to the other end, this is sad. 10 years ago when we started this pod, a little old team by the name of Leicester City won the Premier League against all odds.
On the flipping fastest counterattacks.
Yep. Oh. And sad news was confirmed also yesterday as Leicester City's 2-2 draw with Hull confirmed their relegation down to the 3rd tier of English football. So in League One, the Foxes will now play next season. What a fall from miracle to misery it's been.
And it could get worse. Because while they have all this nice stuff for these other teams to enjoy, that is such a drop in revenue and everything else with the things they've built. And it might not be done.
It's sad. Now, here's the thing. They could stay up because I think there's there's some team that's down there with them that could get a points reduction for financial fair play. Is it Watford? No, who is it? I don't know. But anyways, they're 10 points above. So it would take a 10 point it would take a hefty points deduction to take them down. So odds are that they're going down, unless something wild happens with that would basically bring them back up. But you have players that are cursing out, like fans, like players have been there for a long time.
It's
like
bad.
Harry Winks. It's just bad. It's really, really bad. And you just hope that they don't keep falling down the league tables here.
Last week on April 12th, Union Berlin confirmed the interim appointment of their assistant coach, Marie-Louise Etta, as their new head coach. This appointment makes history as she becomes the first female to be given the top job at a men's club in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Previously head coach for the under-19s and already previously agreed to be taking over Union's women's side in the summer. How awesome this is.
Yeah, this is pretty rad.
So cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Only a matter of time. It's going to be cool to see, like how well she does, how well.
I think they lost their first game this weekend, but it's not so much about that, with this kind of news. You want to see her stick because Union Berlin are not good.
I was saying it's not like she inherited a good
they're
situation.
not good
And
at all.
I mean, they're teetering on the edge of the end of the season, right? There's
they're
3 games left.
They're down there. They are they're in 11th, but they could get drawn down there. But yeah, they've lost their last 3 of 4. They lost 2-1 to Wolfsburg, which was her first game in charge.
Which that is rough because Wolfsburg is not good this season.
No, and they're in 17th place. So it's just awesome, and that she'll get this job until the end of of the year, and then kind of go to what was already kind of prior agreed upon, and going over to the women's side. But just very, very cool, and then it happened in Germany as well. Very, very cool.
In the Canadian Premier League, Arsene Wenger's daylight offsides rule is being tested for use. And this weekend, we got our first goal called a good goal per the experimental rule, where with the current rules, it would not have been called a good goal, like if you were in the Premier League. Do we think the daylight offsides rule will stick? No. What they're trying the Canadian Premier League isn't going to stick right now, because they were like, this is the one also they're doing the thing where like the managers can challenge, like in the NFL, to get a review and stuff.
No, they're not.
That's on the docket for later. This is specifically the offside part.
Are you sure there's not more happening? Because there was the one thing that's happening.
I don't know if that's happening. Though.
Yeah, there's because in the Canadian Premier League, they are struggling with the amount of stoppage time right now is real bad with the VR. Now in this case, I think I like this rule over games. What was the one with Forrest the other week where by a crease of an elbow it was offsides?
Yeah, but here I'm going to read you what I had sent to the Athletic when they kind of on one of the newsletters they had asked about this. And I said, well, I'm curious on law changes to help improve the fluidity and accuracy of the game. I'm not so hopeful this one will see the light of day. Kind of a pun, but I think it's because it ultimately comes down to it. We are still going to microanalyze the play with a fine-tooth comb of differing perspective. For instance, the idea of daylight in between is not unlike that for which we already have in play with goal line technology. However, there is zero controversy with that. Why? Because it's taken out of the hands of opinion and conjecture. But also, that technology is working with solid, unchangeable shapes and lines. So pinpoint accuracy is more achievable. When we are referencing offsides, we are talking about humans, movement, extremities, clothing, and etc. All these, and we've seen it several times over the years, have come into play when we're talking offside. From an elbow to a toe to a trailing leg, what's it going to be next? The flap of a collared kit, the man bun of a player, or the studs of a boot? If there's no daylight in between those, then what? So long story short, like how I started off the email, I just said, I don't think this is going to change in terms of the IFAB like law that would be changed as a whole. And I actually think it's not in every league, but it's being used in the Premier League this season. It'll be used in the World Cup is that automated offside. That seems to be fairly quick and not as arguable as well. I think we got to try to mesh these technologies a little bit better.
Or you could do like the championship. They just voted no thank you to VAR. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The championship was like, no thanks. We're cool here. We're all good. We don't want it.
Yeah. So I think we'll see how the rest of this Canadian Premier League season plays out. But I think we're still going to microanalyze it. Even in the graphic that they show, they're still drawing the line. They're still showing, it's just what's daylight in between.
No. Hey, that is added. The video, the VFS as opposed to VAR is the implementing of the offside trial and a video support system that allows coaches to challenge decisions. So that has also gone into effect for Canadian Premier League. And that is where they're not liking, well, I say seems fans right now are like, it's adding a tremendous amount of time, this and holding up. I don't know if the coach challenge thing is going to be a thing that survives to greater football.
Seems like a little too American football.
Little too NFL for my take. Yeah. It made sense in the NFL where the other option had just been, there was like replay on every play. And then it was like, no, let's bring this down. But, I don't know. I got to say something that this week when I saw a thing about the championship just saying they voted against VAR entirely, I was like, there's something refreshing about that. Just screw it.
Yeah.
Keep goal line, though. That is.
Yeah, keep goal line. Sure. Yeah. I don't think that's fine. That's hard for a human eye. That, you know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, and there's just no argument with that. We haven't had one issue with it.
No.
And I know not every league has it, but still. A week or so ago, U.S. Soccer announced sporting director Matt Crocker will be leaving his post for a similar position with the Saudi Arabia Football Federation. With, at the time, 60-some days out, I believe we're 50 days as of today, from the start of the World Cup here in the States, this sudden departure is certainly that sudden. Having been the one to rehire and then fire Greg Berhalter, hire Emma Hayes, and then hire Mauricio Pochettino, what do we make of this sudden move and his time at U.S. Soccer?
Boo, you suck. Don't let the airplane door hit you or the good Lord split you.
Ah, yes, amen. I don't think it's ultimately going to have a whole lot of effect on the actual play during this tournament.
Yeah,
but why do it at this time?
Yeah.
That's it. Why do it 50-some days, 60-some days out of the World Cup?
Because his offer from Saudi Arabia expired at X time and he had to make the move.
You're not even going to see what you've been trying to build.
Has he not read the articles? Idiot. He's going to land somewhere strange and be kidnapped for a while, like freaking Inchi was. He doesn't even know that he's got the gig. All right, whatever, man. You suck. I hope you're getting overpaid for your own sake at Saudi Arabia. I'm sure you are. Like I mean, like, is Poch and Emma Hayes a bad choice? No, I don't think those are bad choices. But I also think they were obvious choices that, like, it's more like don't screw those up. That Berhalter thing.
I think he's been looking for an exit for a while.
Yeah,
right? He comes over from the English FA, and he gets into the American greed system of pay to play, and realizes that all of the stuff that he wants to change has to be changed at the grassroots level, and that's way too much money, and that's way too political. Yep. Where you got to be, kissing the ass of all these like rich fiefdoms that, have to garner votes for all this. And everybody's worried about making money on the whole thing rather than making U.S. soccer a world power. I think for all those reasons, he is disillusioned. And if you're going to go somewhere that's a pain in the ass, may as well get paid better for it, right? It's not like he was getting any love for his appointments of any of the managers, right? So like,
well, I don't think he got stick for Emma Hayes and Potch. I mean, I think those are like, but
no, but I mean, I don't think he's getting praise for Pochettino.
No,
and it's too early to tell on Emma Hayes.
He got
Emma Hayes is probably the world's preeminent women's manager.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that he brought in two people that is not your Greg Berhalters, your American coach that we got to have a coach. I think that was a big. You're going after big names,
right?
He got praise for both of those. Obviously, Emma Hayes won a gold in her first few years, and then obviously we'll go to the World Cup, and that's the main one, right? That's the main one.
Was he getting out before he was going to get fired as the men?
Maybe. I mean, that's Poch. We don't know yet. That story's still to be played out. It's been up and down and very roller coaster-ish.
Yeah. If they were worried Poch might run back to Spurs, I think that gets less likely the further Spurs goes.
Yeah, right.
Do you guys know what Landon Donovan had to say about this?
Send it.
If he doesn't want to be here, we don't want him here. I always got the sense he wasn't fully committed here and doesn't really care about soccer in this country. Deuces. I added the deuces. But the previous was a quote from Landon Donovan.
Go, USA!
That's what Donovan had to say. Where's my button?
And lastly, also last week, we had another departure here in the States, this time in the MLS, with the sudden conscious uncoupling of Javier Mascherano and Inter Messi.
So,
cited for personal reasons. What do we think?
So here it is, guys. Messi is going to get MVP, and he's also going to get Coach of the Year when they make him a player coach. And Apple foots the bill on that part of the raise, and there you go. That's what happens.
Well, the Athletics article is pretty interesting
as the details have started to come out. Yeah,
right. Like
locker room arguments and
yep. I mean the amount of big heads in the Inter Miami locker room is not few, right?
Apparently, like him and Messi had a very good relationship, and they would always go back and forth and be one of the people that he can go back and forth with. But like they just won the MLS Cup. They weren't off to a terrible start to the season. Yeah, they drew their last two before he decided to leave. But like, just it's very interesting in the whole personal, reasons. I don't like it because we're still without a head coach here. Right. And if a Wilford Nancy's out there, I'd rather him come to us if we do it, opposed to then looking down south if that's an option. But just very odd on the timing. And yeah, definitely go over to the Athletic. Tom Bogert wrote a very interesting, good article, kind of the details afterwards on it.
Do you want Landon Donovan's quote for this one? I got another one. Dax McCarty, this end quote, this is what he says. Donovan says, Dax McCarty says, if you believe Tata Martino, fresh off the best regular season in MLS history, and Javier Mascherano, fresh off winning MLS Cup 4 months ago, decided to just up and leave due to personal reasons only, I've got oceanfront property to sell you in Nebraska. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, true. That's a very good point. You've had two of these big coaches that have done well decide they want to leave. So
it's a big head locker room.
People that, right? But and you think managers that could handle that though?
Well, like also it's your star player is your star player, but he also owns like your job because he owns part of the club, or he's going to own part of the club.
He's going to own it,
and he gets kickbacks from Apple, and he gets kickbacks from Adidas. Like it's who he wants in there, not necessarily it's what he wants. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's not going to be fair for any manager who's in there for the rest of time.
Yeah, so Messi and Guillermo taking over, Hoyo's taking over more and more. I don't. Yeah, we'll find out something there. All I know is David Beckham still dresses up real sexy for interviews. I don't know if you saw his recent ones, but
strapping fella.
He knows what he's doing.
And that has been your La Liga's Roundup.
And for personal reasons, we need to wrap up the pod. Mostly because
A lot of glitter in the fun.
well, the problem is it guys, can you oh god, I'm gonna have to take another picture and see if I can send the problem is one, this thing still has a chunk of glitter in the bottom, but also I prior to this my family took me out for Mexican where I had gigantic margaritas and they're like, do you want another beer? Do you want anything else? I was like, I'll take a Pacifico, small or large.
Heck yeah.
Give me the large, which was a mistake because I'd already been eating so many fajitas and stuff. I was like, ugh. And we went to go, we've been trying to get a fire pit. So we wanted to get a fire pit. So they took me out to go pick out a fire pit and to get for the house. And I'm walking around like Home Depot afterwards, like going, oh my God. I can't.
So full.
I'm so full. I'm so full. And now I've just impacted all of that with glitter.
Yeah.
So
Your stomach is
Homeboy.
doing all sorts of like gymnastics to you right now.
Homeboy's gonna have the downtown push downs.
yeah, my fear is like I wake up in the middle of the night having to take a crap, not remembering what I did, and then freak myself out.
Gonna have the glitter squirt.
Gonna be great.
Oh my God.
Hopefully that's biodegradable.
Oh, that's my beer of the pod. I have Duclaw's glitter unicorn farts, the sour me beer.
This is one that I wish we would have all had together because we did it, for you. But ours went down perfectly smooth.
Yeah, it was quite a good one.
Is it
Oishi.
Oishi?
Oishi means delicious in Japanese.
From the what was from the
Oishi.
Yapa Service Yara?
I think it's Japanese.
In Brazil by 3 Japanese. ladies.
Yeah, 3 Japanese Brazilians. Yeah. That website was really cool. Look it up. What a cool looking company. Ferris, do you have a Zlatan quote for us?
I have the book.
You got the book.
You got the power.
All right, you tell me when to stop there, birthday boy.
Wait, go the other direction because you always go that direction. Here we go. Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah. Stop.
A clean page on both sides. Look
see,
at that.
there we go.
rare is that? Okay.
I love when Ferris's face makes one going, I can't read that one.
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna stay away from that one right there. All right, we'll do 2 for Tuesdays. But it's actually Wednesday. A reporter, do you think it's even possible for Ajax to lose 9 points in 9 games? It's a lot of time. According to my calculations, it is possible to lose 9 points in only 3 games. Basically saying, yeah, no, it's math. Like that's how it works.
That's great, actually.
A question asked to him. What are you not going to say when you meet your teammates in Ajax for the first time? His answer, I'm Zlatan. Who the hell are you?
Perfect. Well, as always, follow us at thebeautifulgame.com. You can follow us on the blue skies and the Untapped with all these beers and deliciousness. Leave a rating or review. Tell your friends, family, and loved ones all about us. And since I'm a child of the 80s, I'll just leave you with this. Guys, I'm looking to sell my DeLorean. Good shape, low mileage, only driven from time to time.
Well done.
Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Beautiful Game. Nerds. Love it.